How's it going, guys? Everybody's always looking for a good storage rack to either store their plane on or a rack to work on their plane on, and those can get expensive. So today I'm going to show you how to turn this stuff, which is about $20 worth of material, into this rack for your planes. I'm not sure where I got the idea from. I think I saw a picture that a guy had posted where he was just setting a plane on an old walker, and I thought, I think I can improve on that. So I've made quite a few of these for different people. I have like this one in my garage I've been using for years. They work very well. So stick around, I'll show you how to do it. If you look right here on this walker that I got from my church rummage sale, it has these release buttons. So whenever you're done with your rack, you want to put it in your truck or whatever, it stores pretty flat. So the first thing we're going to do is take all these wheels and stuff off there so it sits level. Now I guess you can leave the wheels on there if you want to. I like to take them off just because I don't like how it sits at an angle. So the first thing I had to do is I have to take the wheels and like the rubber stoppers off of the bottom. That's going to allow the walker to sit down flat. Some of these don't come with these wheels on them. Most of them do. The wheels are like really big, like 4-inch, just like regular wheels. I'm going to keep them because I know one day I'm going to want to make something out of them. The best thing about this is it's adjustable. So what you'll have to do is once you get this built, you can actually adjust these legs up and down so that they set level. All right, once you get the wheels removed, the next thing you want to do is get these rubber handles out of here. They're just going to get in your way. All right, the next thing you want to do is you need 2 of these. These are basically the parts that will attach to the walker itself for like the arms to stick up. You want to take these and cut them about right where this line is. I'm going to use a bandsaw, but you can use a hacksaw or a Dremel to do that. Another thing is if you have like a cross piece at your house, instead of buying 2 of these 3-ways, you can just take a cross piece and cut that in half. That'll save you from having to buy an extra piece. So I'm going to cut those. All right, so once you have these cut, as you can see right here, they would just snap right over top of that perfectly. And I use 3/4 inch PVC connectors. You can use whatever you want, but that's what fits best over the top of most of this metal from these walkers. And also, if you're going to cut this with like any kind of electric tool, wear eye protection. This plastic just goes everywhere. Plus, I don't think it's good for you to like smell burning plastic that much, so just be aware of that. All right, now that I have these on here, both of these right where I want them to be, you can kind of like eyeball it, look and see if you have them positioned the right way. But before I do any of that, I'm going to drill a couple of pilot holes for the screws. You can see where I have them marked out on each one of these with the Sharpie. Now you don't have to put these here. You can put them on the sides right here if you want. I might actually put one on the back just, for, to brace it a little bit more, but you don't have to. All right, I have my little pilot holes drilled, and you can kind of see it's not very scientific, but I'm going to, you can see like right here on the edge of these, that's where like the old rubber handle was. I'm just going to position these the best I can right in between those 2 marks and kind of guess that that's where the center's at. Okay. Now, what you do, you definitely want these pointing straight up and down, so you want to check for that. You don't want them tilted in like this. Obviously, if they're tilted in like that, they could cause a problem when your plane is sitting on it. So just kind of eyeball it the best you can. If you have a small level, you could even like put a level on it and make sure that it's lined up. I'm not going to get that technical with it. So once I have that about where I want, what I'm going to use is self-drilling sheet metal screws. I think these were less than $2. I really only need 4 of them. Like I said, if you want to put extra ones in there just to hold it a little bit more to brace it better, you can do that. All right, so now these are attached and screwed down. Like you can see, they are very, very sturdy. And now we'll get to the point, the part where You know, the rest of this is pretty customizable depending on what you want to do. I'll show you. The first thing we're going to do is cut the neck parts, and then we'll start to cut the parts for the actual arms that will be, or the cradle that will be holding the planes. All right, so I cut these arms at about 4 inches. You have to remember it's about a ½ an inch for each one of the fittings for the inside, so that's going to wind up being about 3 inches. This obviously is where, you know, the cradle is going to come out right here. You can make this as high as you want. If you want to make that 10 inches, you can. All depending on what height you want it to be at. I have some of these that are shorter, like this one right here, and I have other ones that are a little bit longer, like the one that my turbo timber is sitting on. So that's kind of customizable. Now I did notice that one of these is kind of tipped in like a little bit of an angle. That's not really going to hurt anything. Here's the other thing. You don't have to glue these pieces in. They fit together tight enough that when we get done, I'll show you, it'll all be kind of held together. So you don't really have, I mean, if you want to put PVC glue on it, you can, but you don't have to do that. You can change it if you don't glue it. Once you glue it, it's the way it's going to be forever and ever. All right, now, so what you can see what we've done is, you know, get this down here, here's the neck, another 3-way T. And like this right here, I did these at 3 inches. Again, this is customizable. This can be, you know, depending on what size planes you fly, you can, you know, you can change this. This will fit just about everything that I have. I think it's going to be about 8 inches from here to here. Just measure your planes and see what you need beforehand. Now, what I will say, if you're not going to glue these, what you're going to want to do is still pound these in so they're kind of tight. And you can see I have it's way up against, you know, the inside, that edge. Once you pound these in there, well, you have to be careful, number one, because contrary to popular belief, PVC is very strong, but it will break. But like, let's say you get this pounded in, you see it's at an angle, all you have to do is just take one of these, stick it in the end, and you can kind of get it flush back to straight again if you want. But you're still, I mean, most planes are not going to be heavy enough to move these once you have them pounded in. So you don't have to worry about it shifting around. Next thing I'm going to do is make these arms right here. And again, this is going to be customizable depending on what you need. All right, so here we are. I got these, now the upright arms on there. Basically all you're doing is just making 2 goalposts that are going to sit on top of this. I decided to go a little bit higher. I think these are 5 inches, just because, you know, like when your plane's on there, let's say you're at the field and the wind blows a little bit. This will, when it rolls, it'll roll into this. It's not going to keep it from rolling right off of the stand into the ground. All right, so obviously you don't want your airplane just sitting on this plastic, you know, especially EPP or EPO, because it gets dented up fairly easy. So what I like to use is this pipe insulation, and I got 3/4 3/4 diameter, because that's the type of pipe that I'm using. But you know, if you don't have that, you can use anything. I know people have used pool noodles for stuff like this, but this is what I like to use. And this hole, I think I got 6 feet of it, and it was like $1.50. So I'm going to cut pieces to fit on there, and I'll show you what that looks like. All right, so now you can see we have a nice covered area for your plane to sit. You just kind of pull that down into, you know, real tight. You don't have to worry about getting destroyed or getting beat up on that PVC plastic. I added these, and again, these are optional. Most of the ones I have don't have them because I don't have them laying around ever, but I did pick up 4 of these caps, 3/4 inch to go over top of that. And you can either use those or you don't. Now, one thing I have found that I will do, like with this one, I have my RV7 on. If I'm working on something back here and I'm using a screwdriver, I find that works as like a handy little screwdriver holder. If you want that in these, what I will probably do is just drill a hole the same diameter as my screwdriver, so if I need to set tools in there as I'm working, I can do that. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is, you don't want this stuff will fall off, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take electrical tape, which I found is the best thing to use on this stuff, and I'm going to go around the top, and I'm going to go around these corners. If you don't like this bulging out like that, what you can do is just take your X-Acto knife. If you're, if you're into this hobby, you definitely have an X-Acto blade, and you could just cut that corner and it's gonna sit in there a little bit nicer. But I think that I'm probably just gonna leave this one the way that it is. All right, so here it is all taped up and ready to go. Like I said, I mean, I just did a couple of pieces of each corner down there on the bottom. I mean, you could put another one right there in the middle if you want to, but why burn up all that electrical tape if you don't have to? So that's pretty much what you need to do to secure that on there. All right, everybody, this is the finished product right here. As you can see, I have my air tractor sitting on it. That's not a small plane. It's about 1.5 meter, I think, and it holds it pretty well. If you want to put a bigger plane on it, something that's longer, you can always, like, put an angle elbow on here and angle these out. You can put a longer plane on it. As you can see, it's very stable. If the wind were to be blowing it around at the field, it's going to hold it just fine. You don't have to worry about it tipping over. And that's it. Like I said, for $20 and a little bit of time, you can have a rack or a storage rack, a working on rack, an assembly rack, however whatever you want to use it for. Finding the walkers are relatively easy. I get mine from church rummage sale. You can find them at yard sales. You can find them at flea markets. You can even find it, people will put it out in the trash. If you're not above salvaging something out of the trash, you can get it for free. I usually pay $5 or $10 for them. Now, the worst thing about it, I will say, is the looks you get the first time you take it out of your truck at the field. People are going to look at it and chuckle. Just tell them it's for your old planes, waka waka. And pretty soon people will be saying, hey, could you build me one of these? And that's great, because if people aren't spending, if you don't have to spend a $75 or $100 on a rack, you can spend $75 or $100 and put that towards a new plane. You can paint these if you want to paint it. I have a couple that I've painted. I use Krylon paint that bonds the metal really well. And like I said, with these ones right here, that if you can find these that have these push buttons that allow you to close them in all the way, those are really nice. Like I said, it holds the air tractor real good. I just got this plane and I'm very happy with it. There's a review video on my channel if you guys want to check that out. But anyway, I hope you guys build these. I hope you find it beneficial for you, and I hope to see more plane walkers out there.